In this presentation, we will create a percentage of expense income statement, which is a bit more unusual of a report, but it'll give us a good test of what we can do with the customization fields. So let's zoom into it with Xero. Here we are in our Xero demo company dashboard. We're going to be opening up our financial statements. So I'm going to open up the three basic financials. That's going to be the balance sheet. We're focusing in on the income statement, but I keep on opening up the balance sheet in case we want to look at it because that's just the customary thing I tend to do. I'm going to right click on the tab up top. Once that is open, we're going to duplicate that tab. Back to the tab to the left. Then we're going to open up the income statement. We're going to select the accounting drop down. I'm going to be opening up the income statement then. So I'm going to open up the old income statement. Once that has opened, then we're going to go to the tab up top. We're going to be right clicking on that tab up top and we're going to duplicate that tab. I'm going to do this one more time for another income statement so we have that comparison just in case we need the two income statements to go back and look at the one that we're not dealing with. I know I haven't done that yet, but just in case, I like to have it there just in case I want to. So there's another income statement. I'm going to go back up top. We're going to be right clicking on it and duplicate that tab. So we have the balance sheet all the way to the right. We have the income statement we're not going to be touching that we can go to for reference if necessary on the second to last tab on the right, and then the second tab to the left or the middle tab here. This is the one we're going to adjust. If we want to go back and look at anything, we'll go to the tab to the left of that. So we're on the second tab over from the left. We're going to be making our percentage of income statement here. I'm going to change the first thing. I'm going to change this to 2019 first because that's the prior fiscal year. That's the dates that we've been running these reports for thus far, so we'll keep with that. We're going to be changing the name. I'll change the name to the percentage of expense income statement. So there is that. Then we're going to go to the, let's take the decimals out of here. So I'll do that first. I'm going to go to the decimals and remove the decimals and close that. So there we have that. I didn't do it. I didn't save it, apparently. So I'm going to say show decimals, removed, and then update. I have to update the report. Okay, so there we go. So now what we're going to do, what we're imagining is another column with percentages once again, but instead of the percentage of income, we're going to take the percentage of the operating expenses. So this total expense line, we're going to compare every line item on the income statement to the total expense line. A little bit more unusual to do that because the expense isn't kind of the objective, but it can give us useful tools, especially within this expense area. So if I'm comparing the advertising compared to the total expenses, when I'm thinking about budgeting and things like that, that could be a useful ratio. So let's go ahead and do that. It's a little bit different too, so we can test out our editing abilities. So we're going to edit the layout and we're going to add a column, and I'm just going to use the percentage column again. So we're adding a percentage column, and I'm going to take the 2019, that's the column we're going to be picking up, and we're going to take a percentage not of income this time, but of the operating expenses, So it's 2019% of operating expenses. That's a pretty good name. I'll keep it at that. That's the default name that they gave us. We're going to go ahead and say done and see what is then generated. So if we go then back down, we see, this makes the most sense for this section down here on the operating expenses. So for example, we have our percentages on the right now. I could see the large percentages and try to, drill down on those as the percentage of the total expenses. So for example, I could take this 2363 divided by the total of the 15065 and equals, moving the decimal point over, that's going to be that 15.6%. So about 15. That's rounding. There's rounding involved here because remember I took off the pennies. So there we have that. So then we can compare this to other types of industries and look at their percentages, and that could be a useful tool. Anytime we have to do comparison of things that have different kind of sizes to them, and this happens all the time. Like if you do any kind of a comparison of jobs or your jobs, your performance reviews of others, oftentimes it comes down to percentages to be able to compare things, and we can see that clearly when we're judging the performance in things like sports, where they're always using stats in order to do so. So if we go back up top, we see that the revenue line is over 100%. That's because we hope that the revenue is greater than the expenses. So the revenue was at the 23427. If we compare that to the expense, if we divide that then by the expense, which was this 15065, we get over 100%. If I move the decimal over, two places, 1, 5, rounded up to 6 about. So there is that. Let's go ahead and print this one out. We're going to do our standard kind of items here. I'm going to copy this name. Then I'm going to memorize the report. So I'm going to go to the Save As, Custom. I'm going to put the name right there. That's the one I want to save it as. I'm not going to hit that little checkbox. I'm going to say Save. I'm going to double check that it shows up in our custom reports by going to the tab to the left, going to the accounting dropdown, going to the reports, and then we're going to check that custom tab to see if it shows up there. We're going to be in the second tab over, and let's see if it pops up in that custom tab there it is, as we knew it would be. So there it is there. Note, you can do some manipulation of the reports over here. So obviously we can open it here. We could just click on it to open it. We could rename it here. We can make it the favorite here as well. And then we can make it the default report from this point, or export it to a PDF from this point as well. All right, let's go back to the tab, the second tab. Then we're going to do our normal kind of printing. We're going to save this with all of our other reports that we have been making. So we're going to go to export, and I'm going to export it as a PDF. And I'm going to put it as a PDF, and I'm just going to put it into this folder that we have been making all of our PDFs for. So I'm going to put that right over here. I'm just going to drag it in there. And there we have that. And maybe I'll just copy the name this time. So we'll copy the name. It didn't drag over. Why, it doesn't drag over sometimes. So I'll try it again. So I'll drag it over there. There it is. It showed up that time. All right, I'm going to right click on it, rename it, and there's that. So then I'm also going to create the Excel file. Now I want to put it on this Excel file. So we're going to add it to this Excel sheet. So to do that, I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to open up the other report by exporting it to Excel. Then it's going to open up down below. I'm going to open it up. I'm not going to save it this time. I'm just simply going to open it because I just want to copy it over to the tab in the worksheet that we really want it to be in. Here it is. I'm going to go ahead and copy the whole thing by hitting the triangle up top, or just saying Control A should do it. And I'm going to then copy that thing. Then I'm going to minimize this tab. I'm going to make another sheet in the one where we want it. Here's all of our reports. We want to make another sheet down here. Double click. This is going to be % of expense, something like that. We're going to put it in A1. You got to be in A1 in order to make this work, or it won't let you paste it. We're going to paste it with the first one. And then I'm going to make it a little bit larger over here. Going to bring it back up to the 150. I typically will check that it fits on one page by going to the page layout tab then, and then back over to the normal view, page layout view. Here's the sheet, and notice statement is not showing up there. So what I'll do is I'll make column A a little bit larger. Statement now appears. It should all fit on a page now. So let's save this. Let's print it. We can print it if we want to send all these reports to one printer now. We could do so and print out multiple copies that should be collated already for us and be just perfect. Or we can print it as a PDF that we can then attach one PDF. And we're going to use the Qt PDF printer to do that. You need some kind of PDF printer to do that. Qt PDF printer is a free one. I believe it was when I downloaded it, and it's been used. It's been working well for me for quite some time. 5 pages. If we go through those 5 pages, let's see if they all look okay before we finish and finalize the process of printing. They all look good. So we're going to go ahead and print this. It's then going to ask us, hey, where do you want to put this thing? And we're going to say, I'll tell you where we want to put it. Same place, same name. We're going to overwrite the one we had before. So I'm going to say, save it there, please. And then we'll bring it on over here. And so we could give this to someone. We could give it to someone with 4 attachments now, which is getting kind of a lot. We can print them, but it would be hard to print them from 4 different attachments. We would have to collate them to do so. We could put them all in one Excel file and then print them from the Excel file, and that'll collate it for us, which is nice. Or we can give that Excel file to someone, or we can give someone an attachment with an email, possibly with the 4 reports here, and just kind of list, hey, these are the 4 reports in the the body of the email, and then there's the 4 reports that are in this one PDF file, and so then we can provide that. So these are a few of the ways that you might want to organize the information.